a little fuzzy. Guess I'm gonna have to do another. Bring out the, the 8-bladed weed whacker. Give my head a. There, okay, we got a chat and Kathy's first one in the kitchen. How you doing tonight? Oh, I must have bumped. I bumped a damn red blinking light. Oh well, who cares if it's crooked? Ain't nothing straight around there anyway. I guess I no longer will have use of Studio One. You're good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, it seems Boots has determined Studio One is now his new home. Oh, we'll go into it once Ron shows up. Not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. You know, when you're having a second thought, you should follow that second thought. I didn't. Come on, Ron. Where are you? Come on, Ron. Wake up, Ron. Where are you? I don't want to start without you, Ron. 3 minutes. Come on, Ron. Where are you? We seem to have lost Linda lately. I wonder if she's over at the Pirates Cove. 'Let's get rolling because I only got 40% on this battery. I'm going to have to shut the tablet back off and put it on charge. No, we don't want that. Broadcasting live from station WDWL TV Studio 2 because Boots now owns Studio 1. And we are brought to you courtesy of Grumpy Vulture Productions. And with that, let me shut this tablet off so it charges up so I have music to end with. Power off. Go. There. Okay. Charge. I forgot to plug it in. Yesterday, when I was on the Walmart.com, I looked at this cheapy coffee maker. And remember I said, if I get a year out of it and it burns out. So that one was $30. The Keurig with the tank on the side was a special sale, originally $149.99 for $59.99. And I was like, oh, do I want to spend that money? So the coffee maker gets there about 10 o'clock. And it's a Sefine, a Sefine. Chinese crap. It is the biggest piece of shit I've ever purchased. I'm embarrassed to say I bought this thing. So I call Walmart and I said, first of all, I said, this thing's a Chinese piece of crap. And I'm spoiled by the Keurig because you push a button. Hey, Rudy, how are ya? You push a button, and whether you have 6, 8, or 10 ounce, the water drains down, goes into the hot water tank, and then pumps through to give you your coffee. Well, this thing, it spurts. And then you hear the water boiling. Then you hear the water boiling. So I said, I don't want it. And the girl says, what's wrong with it? So I explained. I said it makes coffee in spurts. Where the Keurig will boil 10 ounces or 12 ounces of water, and then one continuous flow until the water is empty out of the tank and you have a cup of coffee. So she said, well, what machine did you want? I said, I wanted the Keurig single, but with the water tank. So she looks it up and she goes, yeah, it's on sale, $59.99. I said, yeah. I didn't want to spend the extra money. She's, hold on. Okay. About 6, 7 minutes later, she comes back and she says, how would you like the machine for $39.99? I said, what's the catch? She said, well, we only have it in mint green. What's wrong with that? I said, what about this other piece of shit? She says, we'll give you a full credit for it and keep it. I said, keep it for free? She says, yeah, because by the time we return it to stock, we're going to lose more money than what it's worth. My supervisors authorized me to give you that machine and give you the discount on the Keurig. I said, wonderful. I'll take it. She said, good, because basically you had like 17 minutes to make up your mind, because if I put the order in right now, you'll have it tomorrow morning. I said, holy shit, put the order in, I'll take it. So I'm going to give the crappy machine to my kid, and then I'm going to have the nice Keurig that has the, I can't remember how much the tank holds, but it's a big tank. I think it says it makes 8 cups. So 8, 10, or 12 ounce cups works for me. I mean, I can see the tank on the side of the machine. When the water gets down, so I made 2 cups of coffee out of that piece of shit. And it just aggravated me. So you get what you pay for. I should have spent the money and bought the Keurig to begin with, because the other Keurig was wonderful. It just was a great machine until it died. And then I find out that her tenant had used it for 3 years. So I got a year out of it. That little, which is the cheapest single machine they make, to get 4 years, I'm not complaining at all. Although I couldn't complain because I got it for free to begin with. But I got spoiled by Keurig. And I had second thoughts, and basically, if you had good luck with something previous, spend the money and buy it again. That's right, kid. You live and learn, yeah. I took this piece of shit Safine out of the box. It don't weigh nothing. There was the first clue that this machine was going to be a piece of crap. And then I hit the start button and brrrt, brrrt, brrrt. It takes like 2 minutes to make a cup of coffee. All right, now 2 minutes isn't a long time. The Keurig does it in like 45, 50 seconds. I never saw a machine boil water as quick as that Keurig does. Yeah, but you know what? Keurig invented the pod machine. It's been around for years. It's a proven item. I'm not going to buy anything anymore that I don't recognize the name. Like I say, Safine. Safine. Chinese piece of crap. So tomorrow before noon, I'll have the Keurig here. I'll make my morning coffee in the Chinese piece of crap. And then tell my kid, here, it's yours. Get it out of my sight. I don't even want to see it. And it does not make a great cup of coffee like the Keurig did. It just tastes watered down. And you know, all right, the Keurig would have been twice as much. You know, I'm looking 30 versus 60. You get what you pay for. Plain and simple, you get what you pay for. No, the Keurig is not a Chinese piece of crap. The Safine is a Chinese piece of crap. Keurig, I believe, is made in Germany. Like I say, that single machine to go 4 years, I feel bad throwing it away, but it's shot. And I'm getting it in green. Oh, God, when she said, sorry, sir, the reason it's on sale is we only have it in mint green. Green? Ship it. I don't color match my appliances. Christ, I got shit out there of every color under the sun. I think my regular coffee maker is blue. My toaster is yellow. Now I get this mint green Keurig. And I have it's a pod holder. It's a set of drawers that go underneath the machine. It holds, oh God, that thing holds like 60 pods, maybe more. That's red. I don't care about color. Hey, Runbo's here. We started without you. Sorry, buddy. So, yeah, when the girl said, we don't want the Safine back, I knew at that point it's a real piece of crap. When a seller like Walmart tells you they don't want something back, you know it's worthless. China and Malaysia. God. Originally, they were made in Germany. Even the goddamn Germans are going offshore with shit. Maybe I'll get lucky and mine will be made in Malaysia. Either way, I mean, Keurig is a number one name in pod machines. And it just goes to show when you buy cheap, you get cheap. I thought there was something wrong with it. And then when I read the instructions, it said, takes up to 2 minutes to make a cup of coffee. Then I knew there was nothing wrong with it. It boils a little water and then boils a little water and And I think that's the reason the coffee tastes like crap, because when it stops like that, the Keurig will run 10 or 12 ounces all at once. So I can't wait for the new machine. And then, oh man. Remember I said I was going to go up to the tire shop and have the tires switched, take the the Michelin off the steel rim and put it on the aluminum rim, and then have the Douglas tire put on the for a spare. So I load both tires and rims in the truck, and I go up to my corner tire shop. They're right at the corner of 130th and I-71. They've been there for years. And they're owned by, I can't make out the dialect, Middle Easterns. And 90% of their business is Middle Eastern people because they speak the language, they understand one another, which don't bother me. I mean, these guys legitimately started this business. They both entered the country the proper way. Matter of fact, they both have their citizenship. Started this business the legal way. Great service. So I pull in with the shit box, and the guy, the younger, I don't know if they're brothers or cousins, the younger guy comes out, and I said, I want these tires swapped. Okay. Rolls them in the shop. He gets ready to take the Michelin off the steel wheel, and he's calling me, hey, come here. Well, on the inside, the Michelin has got a crack. And he told me that tire can blow out any time. He says, I'm not going to do this. I says, well, this other tire keeps losing air. He's, let me check it. He airs it up, he puts it in the dunk tank, and it's leaking around the rim. Now, aluminum rims are famous for this. Because what happens over the winter, the salt gets in the bead and it causes corrosion, and the corrosion slowly lifts, gets underneath the bead of the tire and causes air loss. He says to me, he says, I'll take the tire off, I'll clean the rim, I'll put tire sealer on, it'll be good to go. I said, oh, I didn't want a mismatched tire, but the Douglas is like no. So I see him back there with a wire brush, dust flying. He calls me over, he shows me how clean the rim was, both sides. He put sealer on, put the tire on, inflated it, ran it through the dunk tank, no air leaks. I said, okay. He puts the bum Michelin. He didn't have a used Michelin that size. Pissed me off. I wanted another Michelin on the car, but he told me, he says, as long as it's on the back, no problem. And the Passat's got automatic stability control. So he loads the tires in the shit box for me. I says, how much? $20. I said, that's it? $20. I said, oh, okay, here you go. If I would have gone up to Conrad's, they would have charged $30 to $35 to do what these guys did. Because Conrad's, they're highway robbers when it comes to tire repair. So, I got a mismatched tire, but hey, better to be safe because the crack in the side of that Michelin tire, he told me, he said, use it for a spare, but you can't drive on it daily. Okay. Now I think I know why the crack was on the inside. I think Jim had it mounted that way because the crack didn't just happen. But I'm glad he spotted it. Because had he thrown that rim on the tire machine and broke it down and then put it on without looking at the other side, he wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known until I hit a chuck hole and blew it out. And he rebalanced it. Because he called me over, he said, look, I'm only going to take a little weight. I said, oh, good. Although usually aluminum rims are pretty balanced from, when they manufacture them. Very rarely will you see a brand new car that has weights on a rim from the factory. All right, Ron, I'll watch it in the morning. That's when I check my email. The only time otherwise, if I'm expecting, a package, and then I'll. Oh, you watched it already, Kathy? You can tell Ron spends about as much time online as I do with some of the stuff he finds. So I learned my lesson with the coffee maker, and basically got lucky with the tire guy inspecting that tire before he just swapped it over. Because even he told me, he said, had I just thrown it on the machine, taken it off, I wouldn't have looked at it. But he said, we're in the habit of really inspecting tires is when a customer brings them in. But he looked, oh my God, I felt sorry for him. He must have looked through 100 tires. He did not have one in my size. He had other Michelins, but like he said, the Passat uses an oddball size, a 195/65/15. Oddball. So I guess I'm going to have to. I really hate buying a new one. Although we have another tire shop, I forgot, up the other way, up on 140th between Lorraine and Triscuit. I'll have to stop in and see if he might have a good used Michelin. No, I'm not putting new tires on that thing. It's got 3 really nice Michelins. The tread is about 70%. Those tires are too expensive because you can only put H rated tires on there or V rated or something. They got to be rated for 140 miles an hour. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, I could buy a cheap set. I'm not going to be doing the 140 miles an hour. Right now, I can't afford to buy tires for it. Those tires are going to have to do until next spring. And then I'll order a set of 4 all season. But part of the problem is with these tire websites, they will only give you the tire that belongs on your car. If you enter a different tire, oh really? I told you, I knew it was something big. Man, that's sad that a farmer loses his barn. Oh my God. I hope nobody was hurt, humans or animals. Did you drive by and check it out today? You could have been my mobile news team and took a picture. Oh boy, I hope he's got insurance. Although there is no way the insurance is going to pay for what he is going to have to spend to replace everything. That's what's sad about goddamn insurance. They'll look at it and go, well, the tractor was 3 years old, the cars were 4 and 5 years old, so the depreciation, and the barn was built in 1970, so, what it's going to cost him to rebuild that barn, the insurance, even with including the tractor money and the car money, isn't going to cover. Because I guarantee it's going to cost him 150% more. Holy shit, fires all over the place. A house next to Linda. God damn. I was just going to ask that, Kathy. You read my mind. Because usually when you got sparks going, it sets everything in the area on fire. Does your fire department have to use water tankers, Kathy? I would say so because there ain't no hydrant close. Unless they could tap into a well. Well, that's why you kept hearing siren after siren. They no sooner empty a tanker and then another one's standing by. That one takes off to go fill up. Yeah, I know about water tankers because I remember when the farmer down the road from my uncle, his corn crib caught fire. I think it was a corn crib or a granary. It was an outside building. And the tankers were making round trips back to the fire station to fill up and then out to the fire. Yeah, it's amazing how fast 8,000 gallons of water goes when you're running a couple of pumpers. Because I saw a video recently, and the fire department, when they arrive on the scene, it looked like a giant kiddie pool. And this thing assembles rapidly. It's built for that type of operation. And then the pumper puts the siphon hose in, and the tanker keeps filling the kiddie pool. And then as soon as the tanker starts to empty out, the second tanker pulls up and starts dumping in the kiddie pool. Yeah, so those tankers were just making round trips, and they probably had more than two. Oh, yeah, barns go up like a tinderbox because it's old lumber. The barn is usually filled with hay or straw. Once that shit ignites, and then it didn't help having, the cars and the tractor in there. Add a little gasoline and diesel to the fire. That's just sad because that farmer basically just lost everything. If he had that barn full of hay or straw for his animals, not to mention losing a big buck tractor. The only nice thing is if he wasn't done harvesting, all the other farmers will show up to help. Farming is a real tight community. If one farmer has a problem, other farmers get together and say, hey, let's run down to Charlie's house and finish cutting the rest of his hay and bale it, and we'll store it for him somewhere. it's just sad because it's going to take him years to recover from this. If he doesn't decide to give up. Some farmers are like, that's it, I'm done, I'm done. Yeah, if you get down that way, shoot me a couple of pictures. I'm nosy. Not to mention, I'd like to see burned out wrecks. Because you got to figure, if he had a really fairly new tractor, let's say a John Deere, that sucker's $250,000, $300,000. I don't know how farmers can do it today. Because, like, farmers that raise, like, feed corn, price of corn is, like, at a rock bottom level. That's like this farmer, I believe they're in Minnesota. And they bought this, oh, you talk about a laid out tractor. And he said it was $400,000. And they had a huge barn full of equipment. Planters. They had like 5 tractors. You name it. Every implement on earth. They basically had to have $3 million worth of equipment in that barn. Oh, yeah. That's part of the problem I'm running into. More and more frequencies are getting blocked. They put scramblers on them or they go ultra high, and I don't have newer scanners. All right, Rudy, if you're in Minnesota, look up. His YouTube channel is The Millennial Farmer. I'm pretty sure he's in Minnesota. Because I remember watching one of the videos that he put out, and all of their equipment is John Deere. And this company dropped off. God, it was a huge tractor. It had treads on it. Looked like a bulldozer. And I can't remember what make it was. It was red. I remember that. I don't know if it. I don't know who uses red. And they said, here, you got like 200 or 300 acres you need to plow. we're going to lend you this tractor. Go do your plowing. Tell us what you think. And they went out and they plowed the field, and goddamn tractor come out all full of mud and everything. And they were honest with the guy. They said, you know, it's an impressive piece of equipment, but we're John Deere. Your service department is like 50 miles away, where our John Deere dealer's like 5. If we call, a truck comes right out to service right in the field. They said the tractor worked great. They were impressed with it, but they weren't going to buy anything but John Deere. And I'm sure the John Deere dealer gives them a break to keep their business and takes good care of them because, like I say, they must own $3 million worth of John Deere equipment. But he showed it. In comes this big low boy flatbed tractor trailer. They disconnect the trailer, drove this big tractor off of it, and they said, here's the keys. Go plow your field, tell us what you think. We'll be back in a week. And then they came back to pick it up, and they told them, they said, hey, it's an impressive unit. But if you look in that barn over there, all you see is green and yellow, not red. And I could see the salesman going, shit. Load it up, Charlie. We'll take it to another farmer. And the John dealer does the same thing. They get a new unit in, that's bigger and better. They bring it out and drop it off, tell them, here, use it for a couple of weeks. Let us know what you think of the newer, Of course, they're trying to make a sale. But I mean, how many $400,000 tractors can you buy at once? But evidently, they do enough farming. Well, they raise corn and soybeans. Oh, they got big, huge silos. And they farm basically year-round because they're out plowing fields when the fields are full of snow. But his website is The Millennial Farmer. He sent me a shirt. I'll have to wear it again. Sent me a shirt. What else did he send me? Can't remember. He sent me 2 items. Because I wrote a nice comment on one of his videos. Oh, 2,400 acres. Yeah, he's got easily, that was probably a $400,000 tractor that went up in flames. You can't be farming with no old farm wall, like my uncle had. Then, yeah, That was a humongous barn too. I bet you it was full of hay. That's a shame. Be interesting for the fire marshal to determine how it started. Although, I'll tell you what, if oh, the Millennial Farmer's got 2,400 acres. Well, I knew they had a big farm. I knew they had a big farm. That's why they have $3-4 million worth of equipment in the barn. Because I remember a couple of years ago they got whacked with a tornado, destroyed one of the barns, but luckily none of the equipment inside, none of them tractors got damaged. Case tractors are red. Okay, then that's what it was. It was a red, big, humongous tractor that looked like it had tank treads on it. But they were honest. They said, it's an impressive machine. We just don't buy anything but John Deere. But, to bring it out and drop it off and say, here, go plow 200-300 acres and let us know. But that site, he's got some interesting videos. It's amazing because his father likes to do things old school, and he's trying to teach his father, no, we got to do it this way. Because they've got a couple of tractors that are run by GPS. They will go out in an area they need to plow, and they will drive on the exterior and create what they call a geofence. And then they start the tractor up and, all right, there you go. And the tractor will go and plow, pick up the plow, turn around, drop the plow. Brrr. Nobody driving it. That's the way farming is today. Or they go in on their computer and they create a geofence. Just start the tractor up, put it in gear, plow the field. When the tractor gets done, it stops, shuts itself off. That's it, I'm done. And that young girl, what is it called, from Farm to Fashion or something? It's amazing to see her at harvest time with one of them combines that's like 24 foot wide, driving it down the road, getting ready to go harvest. I liked it when I don't know if it was her father or her grandfather taught her to drive a semi. She was like 16 years old. But I mean, when your main source of income is farming, the kids got to follow in your footsteps. But it was amazing to watch her at 16, 17 years old wheeling them goddamn tractors and combines like she was driving a Volkswagen. The hell's on my cup? It's amazing how we went from Keurig coffee makers to farming. Oh, well, yeah. The barn fire. Duh. It's enough light for you, Grumpy. It's frying your brain. Yeah, I have to do a little buzz job with the 8-blade hedge trimmer tomorrow. I'm feeling a little stubble up here. I was kicking around growing hair for winter. The problem is by the time it gets long enough, spring will be here. So screw it. I'll just dig out all my beanies, make sure the dome is warm. Yeah, I think in the spring I'll look up and see if I can find some cheap tires. That way, if I buy them, when I go up to the tire shop, they can't give me any shit about mounting and balance them. Oh, you need 140-mile-an-hour tires. Hey, this car would be lucky if it gets over 40 miles an hour. Put them on. Because I remember when my buddy had his what the hell did he have? It wasn't a Beamer. Oh, he had a big buck Audi. I can't remember what, A6, A7, something. And he went up to Conrad's, and they were like, "Well, the tires are going to be $300 a piece," and he was like, "What?" Well, you need 160-mile-an-hour rated tires. He said, "No. Put these on." They said, "Nope, we're not putting those on." So he said, "Screw it." He left. I told him, I said, "Buy them online. You don't need 160-mile-an-hour rated tires. Buy them online and then go to an independent tire shop and have them mounted and balanced. They don't care. They're charging you by the tire. They don't care." That's what he did. I think he got them for $125 a piece. So they weren't VR rated or whatever. He's retired. He don't even go on the freeway anymore. But Conrad's was like, "No, no, no, no. Your car calls for this tire." Well, yeah, they just wanted the money. Are you catching some of this, Kathy? While you were looking up Case tractors, Ron, should have seen if you could have found out what the average price of a tractor. Yeah, good. I'm about ready to pull what little hair I have out. And there ain't much. I'd need tweezers. Well, I went back on that Ohio educational website. I was looking into the what I could get for free. Quite interesting. Courses from A to Z. I'm I'm gonna really go through them during the week and see if I can find something that interests me. But it's gone for free. Unbelievable. I appreciate you sending that website. And they really don't ask too many questions either. I wasn't quite ready to sign up. I want to look through all the courses. But it's nice for seniors to get them for free. There were a couple that interested me. Yeah, I I was shocked. I figured, there'd be like two schools and five courses. I was like, holy shit. It'd be impressive to have a certificate hanging behind me because I never finished college. Although, the way you're supposed to do it is enter college right after you graduate. Because when you're 20, 22, you don't want to be bothered with school anymore. Not to mention, you're out of the loop. If you go to college right out of high school, you're used to it. You take a break like I did, and then I think I was 22 when I went back, and I was like, oh, Jesus. There was a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds in the class, and I was like, Oh, that does sound interesting. That's worth looking into. Especially if you're into crafts. Yeah, look into it and give me a rundown on it. Not that I'm going to sign up for it, but learn how to make a, a carpet. Slide the thread through, tamp it down, slide the thread through, tamp it down. I used to have a friend that had one of them machines down in her basement. And she would make like blankets and slide the thing through, step on the machine, it changes the thread, slide it this way, step on the machine, it changes it back, slide it through. She would be down there for hours watching TV. And it was quite interesting just to watch her because you slide it through and then you you adjust it this way and then you slide it through and then you adjust it that way and then you slide it through and you adjust it and you're going back and forth and sliding back and forth. Oh yeah, Kathy, you could shoe your own horse. You would have to buy an anvil, one of them big ones. You could become, what do they call farriers? I think that's what it is. A farrier, a guy someone that shoes a horse. Call your local farrier Kathy. She'll come out and shoe your horse for you. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it, a farrier. Although blacksmiths, they make all kinds of stuff. You could make fence latches and fence hinges. Oh, yeah, make your own knives. I used to want, there was that program on cable where every week they had, I don't know, like four different guys competing to make a knife. And they had to heat up their own steel and melt it down and hammer it. And then they would take and, when they got done, the judges would throw them and slash watermelons and water bottles. What the hell was the name of that? I used to watch it a lot just to see how they took a bunch of molten metal and made a big fancy knife. And then, like every show, it was a different kind of knife. Because one show they made like tomahawks. That's it. Forged by Fire, yeah. I used to watch it a lot. Just to see how molten metal that they melted down themselves and then hammered it, put it back in the fire, warm it up, hammer it, come out with a blob of iron, and have this big fancy knife when they got done. Not to mention sharp. God, you could have shaved with them goddamn knives when they got done with them. It just goes to show you can still make stuff by hand. You don't need a factory that's all automated. And the quality is going to be better by somebody that made them one at a time. I can't remember when I stopped watching it. Oh, I know why. I got rid of cable. That's why. Shit canned the old cable. And I don't miss it. The only thing I miss was National Geographic and National Geographic Explorer. Because National Geographic had a lot of shows on Africa. And I like watching nature shows. Now, I can get it. It's in some package, but I'm not paying $12.99 a month. I don't need to watch it that bad. Everything I get for free with my Roku box, I'm happy. Especially with my interrogation videos. God, I watched one last night. You talk about a dumb criminal. They had him on video driving the guy's car, using his credit cards, and something else. I can't remember. It was his car, his credit cards. It was all on video. And they showed the video to the guy, and he's like, "That's not me." And the one detective said, "You got an A's baseball cap. You walked in here with an A's baseball cap." Then he's like, "Well, I'm not the only black person that has an A's baseball cap." Yeah, but you're standing at the ATM machine with the guy's credit card. That's not me. Hour and a half worth of interview. Well, they condense it. He never did admit. He just came, "That's not me." The camera's like right here. That's not me. Your fingerprints are all over the guy's house. Somebody put them there. The detective was like, what? Yeah, somebody put my fingerprints in that house. Okay. They weren't his. Somebody put them there. Then there was one last night. This kid offed his buddy, almost offed his other buddy and his mother, and had no remorse whatsoever. He was like, hey, the guy made fun of my religion. So you waited until he fell asleep and then you took a knife and went. Had no remorse. Even in court. He was like 18 or 19 years old. The judge asked him, are you going to apologize? No. Of course, he got, I think he got 3 life without parole sentences. It's sad, 18 years old, and spend the rest of your life in prison because the only way you're going out is in a box. And when the detective asked him, well, why he made fun of my religion, not quite a good reason to off somebody, but then I watched that interrogation of that guy in Ohio a couple years ago that offed his young kids. They were playing out in the front yard. He stood on the front porch. It was down in southern Ohio. Then there was another one where it was a husband, a wife, and a son. They offed like 9 people in southern Ohio in one night. Then I watched a police chase today. There was a 30-year-old driving, 2 18-year-olds, and a 16-year-old. They went into 2 different Dick's Sporting Goods and ran out with $8,000 worth of merchandise. Then finally, the old highway patrol in Ohio got them to pull over. I think when a state trooper pulls up in front of you, jumps out with an AK-47 and aims it at you, you better stop. he had converted to Islam and was on some really radical Islamic websites. And when this kid made fun of him having to pray 3 times a day or 5 times a day, he was like, that's hilarious. And here's the worst part, Kathy. He went to this kid's birthday party, celebrated his birthday. They had a sleepover, and the kid waited until the kid fell asleep and just walked in with a knife and told, as a matter of fact, it was the FBI that was interviewing him because it was a shame. They had filed an arrest warrant due to him being on these radical dark web Islamic websites. And he had made comments that he was going to do something like this. So the FBI filed for an arrest warrant. And it was like on a Friday evening. The birthday party was over the weekend. And Monday morning, the judge signs the warrant, but it was too late. And to sit there and be interviewed and go, made fun of my religion, he had to go. And the FBI agent said, well, why? And then he was quoting from the Quran. The only problem is he was taking it out of context. And had they arrested him, the poor kid wouldn't have. But no remorse. He felt justified. He made fun of my religion. And when the FBI agent said, well, what'd he say? Well, having to pray 5 times a day is stupid. And they left, and they let his mother go in. And he was the same way with his mother. Had to happen, Mom. He made fun of my religion. And she lost it. She said, you're going to spend your life in prison now. He made fun of my religion. Well, problem was, Kathy, he was interpreting these passages in the Quran the way he thought they meant. But when he rattled off what it said, the FBI agent said, no, it says this. That basically non-believers will question your religion. It didn't say off somebody that makes fun of you. But to sit there and be so dedicated to that radical website, and the sad part was the FBI had been tracking him online for like 6 months. And when he really got nasty, they filed for a warrant. But in a way, they didn't think he was going to go through with it. And then he did. And he had stabbed the other kid and the kid's mother, and oh man, he slashed her across the forehead. When she was in court, she had an ugly scar. Oh my God. And she said she tried to push him away and he swung at her. And boy, he opened her forehead right up. And felt justified. And the whole thing was, when it came to trial, they tried to play the insanity plea, and the jury wasn't having it. Oh, there's some wackos. Yeah, and Scientology. Oh, there's another wacko group. But yeah, there's some people that misread the Book of Mormon, like this kid with the Quran. And boy, they go off the deep end. Yeah, between, what do they call themselves? The Church of the Latter-day Saints. They got some strange beliefs. And Scientology is worse. Matter of fact, I was just reading the other day the girl that was dating Tom Cruise broke up with him because he was trying to force her to join the Scientology church. And she was like, nah, I don't think so. She said, we'll be friends. We ain't dating no more. That was the reason, what's her name? Katie Holmes divorced him. He was trying to jam that religion down her throat, and then, what's her name? Siri, the daughter. He was trying to indoctrinate her. And Katie was like, see ya. Because I know for the longest time, he had supervised visits with her. Talk about right-wing religions. Holy shit. You couldn't get me to live in Salt Lake City if you gave me $1 million condo. Almost as bad as the Jehovah Witnesses knocking on your door. Here, would you like the Book of Mormon? No. Oh, I told you I made the mistake of chatting with some Jehovah's that came by one day. And Jesus Christ, they were at my house every frickin' week. So I finally got rid of them. I came out of the house one day wearing a yarmulke. And I told them I was Jewish. And they never came back. That was quick thinking. I was like, I looked out the door and went, oh no. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Hello? Oh, I forgot to tell you I'm Jewish. Okay, have a nice day. And they never came back. And luckily I knew where the temple was. Because they tried to trip me up. They said, oh, what temple do you attend? I said, oh, the Temple West up on Triscuit. Do you know it? Oh, yes. Well, that's where I'll be every Saturday. Me and the rabbi waving to one another. Okay, have a nice day. I'd be like, whew. First time I thought that fast in a long time. I don't even know why the yarmulke was laying on the table. I look out the window and went, holy shit. Oh, wait. The look on their faces was like, oh. Then trying to trip me up. What temple do you attend? The Temple West. Triscuit. Saturdays. Me and the rabbi, we sit and wave to one another. And then they tried to trip me up again. What's your rabbi's name? Rabbi Feinstein. She's a wonderful rabbi. And then they knew, because there's a female rabbi up at that temple. They were like, okay, have a nice day. I will. And don't come here on Saturday. I won't be here. Whew. The only reason I knew was we had had a Jewish funeral out of that temple, and I actually met the rabbi. It was kind of shocking when she walked out. Oh, you're the rabbi here? Oh, yes. Rabbi Feinstein. Nice meeting you. Grumpy Gentile. Well, Ron, anybody can. I could start the Church of Grumpy tomorrow. I am, believe it or not, an ordained minister. Been so long since I looked at my certificate, I can't remember what church. It was some online thing. Yeah, the certificate's hanging over in Studio One. I can't remember the name of it. Every year they send me an email. Congratulations, you're 14 years now or 15 years. I guess I'm going to have to look at the certificate. I can't remember. It was some online. I did it as a joke. And, oh, they sent me a certificate and a reverend card and all kinds of shit. Then they sent me the, if I wanted to purchase, the shirt with a collar or a full cassock or... I never did buy any of that shit. People wouldn't believe me anyway. Show up in a cassock. Like a Catholic priest. Hi, I'm Rabbi Grumpy. Yeah, right. I am. Wait, I got a card. See? Rabbi Grumpy. Not Rabbi Grumpy. Reverend Grumpy. I used to carry it in my wallet. I don't know where it's at. I had an official signed by the Pope or whoever. I don't know who the head of the church was. I'll get the name of it. Like I say, I have the certificate hanging over in Studio One that I'm an ordained minister. I could do funerals. I could do church services. I can't do weddings. I need to be one step higher in the church in order to legally do weddings in the state of Ohio. I could do a funeral service. I could start my own church. Welcome to the Church of Grumpy. Set up a few folding chairs in my living room. God, it's been 14 or 15 years. Every year I get a congratulatory email. You're now 15 years, Reverend Grumpy, I actually had when Kathy, when I lived in Lakewood, across the street from me was, what the hell was her name? Oh, God. Carly. Her name was Carly. And she was bi. And she decided she wanted her girlfriend to become her life mate. And asked me if I could perform a life mate joining service. I told her I never even heard of it. And I said, second of all, it wouldn't be legal. She said, well, we know, but we want something official. I said, Carly, I know somebody that will be more than happy to do it. I know someone that is an ordained minister in a different church. And she called him and they went down in Met Park and he did a wife mate joining service. And the two of them bought a house and they're living up in the west end of Lakewood. I probably could have done it. I just felt uncomfortable. Here, her girlfriend is 100% gay, and Carly goes both ways. I didn't think it would work out. But they're still together. She Facebooks message me every now and then to see how I'm doing or to show me her garden. Yeah, grumpyism. Oh, wait a minute. It's driving me crazy. Let me go look at this ordination certificate. It's the Universal Life Church Monastery. That's it. The Universal Life Church Monastery. You can look that up. You can gargle it. They're an actual church. And I'm an actual ordained minister of the Universal Life Church Monastery. Reverend Grumpy. It was free to become an entry level minister. If I want to go one step up, it's like $25. And I could become like an archbishop. I figure for free, okay. Although it would be cool to spend the $25 and become Archbishop Grumpy. That would be impressive. Then I would have to buy the cassock and the collar and all that, you know. I can't remember. Look them up. Gargle them. The Universal Life Church Monastery. Like I say, I get a congratulatory email once a year. It's been 15 years now, or 16. I can't remember how many years I didn't look at the date. Oh, it's an impressive certificate. I got it framed. It's got my name on it, Reverend Grumpy. Signed at the bottom, gold seal. And like I say, for 25 bucks, I could become an archbishop. I didn't want to spend the money. But that would be impressive. I could see me walking into Mark's. Cassock, collar, walk up to one of my two cuties that I kibitz with. And they're like, what's with this? Oh, I'm an archbishop. Didn't you know? Really? Yes. The Universal Life Church Monastery. Look, here's my card, Archbishop Grumpy. Well, how come you're in the outfit? I had to go do a life mate joining service. A life mate joining service. I never heard of that. What's for dinner tonight, Ron? Pizza? Again? Jack's Pizza. I hope it's not boring pepperoni again. You got to put a little spice in your life, Ron. You got to get the deluxe or the supreme. Oh, cheeseburgers and fries, okay. Now, if you really want to kick them cheeseburgers up, you should caramelize some onions. Because caramelized onions on a cheeseburger are delicious. But you have to slow cook them so they caramelize, get nice and brown and sweet, and put a big heap. Like last night, I had more peppers and onions on that sandwich than I had Italian sausage. And it was delicious. Oh, that's right. You guys can see meteor showers out there. You got them nice clear skies. Every now and then catch a shooting star. Yeah, Arizona and Nevada are great for watching meteor showers. I had heard that many times. Matter of fact, my friend in Scottsdale says every now and then they'll sit out at night and catch a meteor shower. Oh, Kathy, I'm about ready to lose my mind. And there ain't much to lose. You know what I always would like to see? The aurora borealis. When the sky turns green, oh God, I would love to be somewhere watching that live. I've seen pictures of it many times. The sky turning green at night. The old aurora borealis. Did you catch what I meant, Kathy, when I said I'm about ready to lose my mind? Yeah, they say the best place is up in Alaska to see the old aurora borealis. There's some really cool YouTube videos that people have taken. You look up and you have a green sky, wavy green sky. Oh, I forgot to mention the other day. I'm up at Mark's, and in front of me are two teenage girls, both in skimpy little tube tops and Daisy Dukes and thongs. And the temperature was like fucking 62 degrees. I've got two shirts on and I'm cold, and they're like almost naked. So when I exited the store, they were waiting for someone to come pick them up. And I says to them, are you girls cold? And they were like, why? I said, well, you're like almost dressed. You're barefoot, flip flops. I'm freezing. It's 62 degrees. They were visiting their aunt and uncle from Fairbanks, Alaska. They said, this is summer weather for us. I was like, holy shit. Kathy, they barely had clothes on. I was freezing my balls off. And they were out there, oh, we're summer. Summer? It's October, girls. Yeah. I, I, I was speechless. Everybody has got jackets on and hats. These two girls are just about naked. Matter of fact, the one, her Daisy Dukes were so short, it was like she almost had shorts on and tube tops, little thin tube tops and flip flops. Oh, well, this is summer for us. Yeah. I got in the car and turned the heater on. Yeah, I didn't mention those two. Because I had run into their father because he was getting gas, and I noticed the Alaska license plate on his Nissan Frontier, or no, Titan, was a Nissan Titan. And I asked him, I said, "Did you drive down from Alaska?" He said, "Yeah, 8 days. Took him 8 days to drive from Fairbanks to Cleveland." In a Nissan Titan with about 47 fog lights on the front end of it. God, he had big, huge Hella fog lamps. He must have had 6 of them on the front end of that thing. He told me basically they need them to see the fucking moose or the bears in the road. Because he said the last thing you want to do is hit a moose or a bear. Total your car. They must live out in the sticks out in Fairbanks somewhere. Marx is getting to be like the people of Walmart. Oh boy, yay. That's why I do Walmart.com. I don't have to go in the store. Although, when you go on Walmart's website, they have a hell of a lot more price reductions online than in the store. Like these coffee pots. Oh, yeah, I've seen videos. People will stop, flash their lights, blow their horn, and the goddamn moose will charge them. Yeah, you don't want to be around the moose. Oh yeah, they are very unpredictable. Although there is one town or city up in Alaska, they wander through the town, walk down the sidewalk. I can't remember the name of the town. The moose just wander through like they own the place. Although people don't fuck with them either. There's a moose on the sidewalk, you keep your distance. I've been looking every morning in my backyard to see if the deer have come back yet. It's about this time of the year when they start showing up. I hope they come back this year. Although it really pissed me off that pregnant mama got scared away by the neighbor's goddamn dog. I could have had a little deerlet back there. Because had she given birth back there, that little fawn would have been there for at least 3 months. That would have been cool. Every morning, look out and see a little deerlet. I hope they come back this year. Mary Ann's peach tree still has peaches on it. That pissed her off that year. The tree was loaded with peaches and goddamn deer were eating them all. And that buck last year, oh, he had a rack on him. I still got pictures somewhere. Yeah, he was like an 8-pointer. Oh, he had some big. And she would crawl under the shrub and go to sleep, and he would be on the other side. You could barely see him except his antlers sticking up. Anytime he heard a noise, oh, he was, where is that? Well, yeah, them goddamn moose, they're like over 1,000 pounds. Yeah, it don't take much to total a car. And the moose probably just got up and went, I'm okay. See ya. Oh, that had to be cool, Kathy. My cousin up in Rhode Island, she'll send me pictures. There'll be 8, 10 of them in her backyard. And the cool thing is, like last year, she had like 20 wild turkeys in her backyard. Because she throws out bird food. And she took a couple of pictures. Goddamn whole yard was full of wild turkeys. Because her yard backs up to a big woods. But she gets deer and turkeys and yeah, but Ron, if that moose would have got hit by a 1950 Cadillac, the Cadillac would have just kept driving. Oh, Kathy, can you imagine me in the middle of the city looking out my backyard to see deer sleeping? And mine is the only house. I don't know what's with my backyard. Mine is the only house in the neighborhood that the deer will come to and then go take a nap. Well, let's see if the tablets charge up enough to do exit music. It's been on charge for a while now. Come on, fire up. Geez, it takes forever. Oh, Ron, you want to see something cool? Go on YouTube and look up either Casey Liddell, Delle, Liddell, or Cascade Towing or Heavy Rescue. He bought a 1946 Mercury, and it's underpinned with a 2007 Crown Vic police cruiser chassis. Yeah, on top it's a 46 Mercury. On the bottom it's a '07 police cruiser that belonged to Oakland Police Department. They did a body swap. It is cool. The dead giveaway is the police wheels. Those black steel rims with them little tiny hubcaps. Come on, tablet. It must not have charged up enough. Oh, here we go. It's getting there. Any minute now. It's getting there. Oh, it fired up. Oh, we're at 90%. We can play some exit music. Right here. We know where. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And with that, take care, everybody. How come my SIA ain't working? We'll try it again.